Creating a language. You are going to hear a radio program about invented languages. Listen and answer the questions.
Hello everyone, this is Jenny Wadsworth and you're listening to The Morning Show. Today we're going to talk about invented languages. These are languages that have recently been created. The languages didn't change and grow naturally over time. With us in the studio is Steve Clay, a linguist. Steve, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Jenny. It's a pleasure to be here.
Steve, since most listeners probably don't know what an invented language is, could you give us some examples?
Sure. One popular example is Klingon, which comes from the Star Trek films. In the films, the Klingons, who come from the planet Kronos, are a human-like warrior group. Another example is Elvish, which is the name of a group of languages spoken by the elves in the book The Lord of the Rings, which is now a famous series of films.
I understand that the characters in those films spoke invented languages, but do people actually speak them in real life?
Certainly. The study of invented languages has become extremely popular lately. There's one school in Britain where the pupils are learning Sindarin, a form of Elvish, and some universities offer courses in other invented languages as well. Oh, I should mention that quite a few Star Trek fans speak Klingon. They actually get together at Star Trek conventions in order to speak the language.
Tell me, Steve, how exactly did these languages begin? For instance, did the writers of the Star Trek films create a complete language, or did they just invent some words for specific dialogues in the films?
Well, in the first two Star Trek films, the writers just invented Klingon words whenever they needed them. Then, in 1984, Paramount, the film company which made the Star Trek films, hired a linguist to create a usable language with its own grammar and vocabulary for the third film.
That's remarkable. What can you tell us about this linguist?
His name was Mark Okrand, and he also published a Klingon dictionary with 2,000 words.
Did people actually buy this dictionary?
Yes, people started to buy the dictionary, and some even learned to speak Klingon better than Okrand himself. As more people became interested, Okrand continued to write about Klingon, adding new vocabulary. Today, there are translations of the Bible and works of Shakespeare in Klingon.
Unbelievable! Now what about Elvish? Did a linguist invent that language too?
No, J.R.R. Tolkien, the author of the Lord of the Rings series, wrote Elvish himself. Tolkien spoke many different languages, and in fact, the whole topic of languages fascinated him. One important theme in the Lord of the Rings is the disappearance of certain languages. In the books, High Elvish and Common Elvish disappear because only the elves speak them, and there are very few elves.
You mentioned earlier that some people speak Klingon and Elvish. Are there any children who grow up speaking those languages?
No, there aren't. Elvish really relates to the lives of the elves, and it's particularly difficult to use in contemporary conversation. One member of the Klingon Language Institute tried to raise his son as a native speaker of Klingon, but he didn't succeed. At that time, the vocabulary of Klingon didn't have words for everyday objects like table or bottle. However, there are a number of native speakers of an invented language called Esperanto. There are different estimates, but the number is between 200 and 2,000.
In your opinion, what is the future of invented languages? Will more people learn to speak them, or will they just disappear too?
I believe that invented languages will become more popular each year. There's something special about invented languages. One good thing about them is that they don't contain any political or cultural prejudices, the way natural languages do. Also, they can help make it easier for people to learn natural languages.
Steve, thank you so much for being with us today. Unfortunately, we're out of time. Please join me again tomorrow, same time, same station.